Hello, the best. Welcome to episode 3 of our journey into the Warhammer 40,000 universe. In the previous episode, we delved into the timeline of this grimdark setting, tracing humanity's rise and fall throughout the ages. Now, we turn our attention to the heart of humanity's struggle for survival in the 41st millennium, the Imperium of Man. In this episode, we will explore the vast and complex society that spans across countless worlds, united under the iron rule of the God Emperor. From the intricate web of political and religious institutions to the never-ending battles waged by the Imperium's military forces, we will uncover the many facets that make the Imperium of Man a bastion of hope and a testament to the indomitable human spirit in a galaxy filled with darkness and despair. Join us as we embark on a journey into the heart of the Imperium and witness the incredible sacrifices, unwavering loyalty, and fierce determination that define the human race in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. In the grim darkness of the far future, the Warhammer 40,000 universe is a place of constant war and strife. Among the many factions vying for power and survival, the Imperium of Man stands as the largest and most influential. Established over 10,000 years ago, the Imperium is a sprawling, galaxy-spanning empire that has endured countless conflicts and challenges in its long history. As the last bastion of humanity in a galaxy teeming with alien species and malevolent forces, the Imperium of Man's primary role in the 40K universe is to preserve and protect human civilization from a multitude of threats. Governed by the God Emperor, a once human being of immense power who now sits on the Golden Throne, the Imperium is a theocratic and authoritarian regime that demands unwavering loyalty and sacrifice from its citizens. The Imperium's power is maintained through a vast military force, including the elite Space Marines, the numerous Imperial Guard, and the secretive Inquisition. These organizations work tirelessly to enforce the Emperor's will and defend the Imperium's borders from the predations of Chaos, Xenos, and other deadly foes. The Imperium of Man stretches across the Milky Way galaxy, encompassing over 1 million worlds and innumerable star systems. Its vast domain is divided into 5 concentric regions known as segmentums: Solar, Pacificus, Tempestus, Obscurus, and Ultima. Each segmentum is further divided into sectors, which are then subdivided into subsectors. This hierarchical structure is designed to facilitate efficient governance and military coordination across the immense span of the Imperium. At the heart of the Imperium lies Holy Terra, or Earth, which serves as both its spiritual and administrative center. It is on Terra that the God Emperor sits upon the Golden Throne, his presence a constant reminder of the divine origins and purpose of the Imperium. Surrounding Terra is the Sol system, home to Mars and the Adeptus Mechanicus, who play a vital role in maintaining the Imperium's technological prowess. Despite its seemingly vast expanse, the Imperium's territory represents only a fraction of the Milky Way galaxy, with the remainder occupied by a myriad of alien species, hidden threats, and unexplored frontiers. The borders of the Imperium are constantly shifting as planets are lost to invasion, warp storms, or other calamities, and new worlds are discovered and brought into compliance. The size and scope of the Imperium make it a truly awe-inspiring force in the 40K universe. It is a testament to humanity's resilience and determination to survive in a galaxy filled with danger and uncertainty. Yet, even with its tremendous resources and military might, the Imperium is constantly beset by enemies on all sides, its survival hanging in the balance as it fights an eternal war against the darkness. The Imperium of Man is a complex and rigidly structured society with numerous organizations and hierarchies that maintain order and stability across its vast domain. At the apex of this structure is the God Emperor, a being of immense psychic power and authority, whose will and guidance have shaped the Imperium for over 10,000 years. Although his physical form is confined to the Golden Throne on Terra, the Emperor's influence can be felt throughout the Imperium thanks to his psychic abilities and the unwavering devotion of his subjects. Beneath the Emperor, the Imperium is governed by the High Lords of Terra, a council of 12 powerful individuals who represent the various branches of the imperial government and military. The High Lords wield significant authority, enacting the Emperor's will and making decisions that affect the lives of countless trillions. The Space Marines, or Adeptus Astartes, are the elite warriors of the Imperium, genetically engineered superhumans who serve as the Emperor's finest soldiers. Organized into autonomous chapters, each with its own history and traditions, the Space Marines are the ultimate weapon against the myriad threats that beset humanity. Their strength, speed, and resilience make them a formidable force on the battlefield, able to tackle challenges that would overwhelm lesser troops. Supporting the Space Marines are the Imperial Guard, also known as the Astra Militarum. The Imperial Guard is the largest military organization in the Imperium, comprising billions of soldiers drawn from countless worlds. Though they lack the genetic enhancements and advanced equipment of the Space Marines, the Imperial Guard's sheer numbers and indomitable spirit make them a crucial component of the Imperium's defense. Beyond these military organizations, the Imperium encompasses a vast array of other institutions, such as the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Inquisition, and the Ecclesiarchy, each with its own role and purpose within the greater whole. Together, these organizations and hierarchies form the intricate web of power and authority that sustains the Imperium of Man in its ongoing struggle for survival in the dark and dangerous galaxy of the 41st millennium. The Imperium of Man faces numerous enemies, both from within and without, as it strives to maintain its dominance in the galaxy. Among the most significant of these threats are Chaos, various Xenospecies, and the enigmatic Necrons. Chaos represents a malevolent force that originates from the Immaterium, or Warp, an alternate dimension of psychic energy. 4 Chaos gods, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh, embody different aspects of human emotions and desires and are in a constant struggle for power. They corrupt and seduce mortals with promises of power, ultimately leading to the formation of traitorous Chaos Space Marines and various Chaos cults. These forces sow discord and destruction throughout the Imperium, seeking to undermine and overthrow the rule of the God Emperor. Xenos is a term used by the Imperium to describe all non-human intelligent species. Numerous Xenos races pose a threat to the Imperium's continued existence, including the highly advanced and enigmatic Eldar, the brutal and savage Orcs, and the insidious, mind-controlling Tyranids. Each of these species has its own goals and motivations, often at odds with the interests of humanity. As a result, the Imperium is locked in an endless conflict with these alien forces, battling for supremacy and survival. The Necrons are an ancient and mysterious race of undying, robotic beings who have begun to awaken from their eons-long slumber. With highly advanced technology and the ability to regenerate their bodies, the Necrons present a significant challenge to the Imperium. Their ultimate goal is to reclaim their former empire and extinguish all other forms of life, making them a dire threat to the entire galaxy. Together, these enemies and others test the resolve and strength of the Imperium of Man at every turn. It is only through the unyielding determination and sacrifice of its citizens, soldiers, and leaders that the Imperium can hope to stand against the darkness and ensure the survival of humanity in the grim and unforgiving universe of Warhammer 40,000. The Imperium of Man possesses a vast array of technology, much of it dating back to the era of the Great Crusade and the Dark Age of technology. While some knowledge has been lost over time, the Imperium's remaining technological prowess is vital to its survival against its numerous foes. The Imperium's weaponry ranges from the basic lasgun, the standard-issue weapon of the Imperial Guard, to the devastating bolter, a powerful, rapid-firing weapon used by the Space Marines. In addition, the Imperium employs a variety of heavy weapons, such as the lascannon, plasma cannon, and melt-a-gun, which are capable of destroying heavily armored targets with ease. These weapons are supplemented by the use of flamers, grenades, and missile launchers, providing the Imperium's forces with a diverse arsenal to combat a wide array of enemies. The Imperium boasts an impressive range of armored vehicles designed for both transport and combat. The most iconic of these is the Rhino, a versatile and durable armored personnel carrier used by the Space Marines. Other vehicles, such as the Chimera and Taurox, serve as transports for the Imperial Guard, while heavily armed tanks like the Leman Russ and the Baneblade provide devastating firepower on the battlefield. In addition to ground vehicles, the Imperium employs a variety of aircraft for both atmospheric and space combat. The Thunderhawk gunship is a prime example, serving as a versatile and powerful transport and gunship for the Space Marines. Meanwhile, the Imperial Navy fields an array of starships, from the nimble frigate to the colossal battleship, ensuring the Imperium's dominance in the void. The Imperium's forces are protected by various types of armor, with the most notable being the power armor worn by the Space Marines. This advanced suit enhances a wearer's strength, speed, and durability while also providing life support and an array of built-in systems such as auto senses and a box link for communication. The Imperial Guard utilizes lighter armor known as flak armor, which offers some protection against projectiles and shrapnel. The Adeptus Mechanicus, based on Mars, is responsible for maintaining, producing, and innovating much of the Imperium's technology. However, due to a mix of religious dogma and the loss of knowledge over time, the Mechanicus is often conservative in its approach to innovation, instead focusing on preserving and venerating the ancient technologies that have served the Imperium for millennia. Through the combined might of its weapons, vehicles, and armor, the Imperium of Man stands as a formidable force in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, able to wage war on countless fronts and endure in the face of overwhelming odds. Religion plays a central role in the lives of the citizens of the Imperium, as it serves to bind the vast empire together and reinforce the loyalty and obedience of its subjects. The most widespread and influential religion within the Imperium is the worship of the God Emperor, who is believed to be the divine ruler and protector of humanity. The Emperor, once a mortal man, ascended to godhood through his immense psychic powers and the sacrifice he made to protect humanity from the perils of the warp. Although the Emperor himself, during the time of the Great Crusade, advocated for a secular and rational society, the events that followed his internment on the Golden Throne led to the rise of the Ecclesiarchy, the religious organization responsible for the propagation of the imperial cult. The imperial cult teaches that the God Emperor is the one true God, watching over and guiding humanity in its quest to conquer the galaxy. The Ecclesiarchy, led by the Ecclesiarch, wields significant influence and power within the Imperium, as it is responsible for maintaining the faith of trillions of citizens. This faith serves as a unifying force, promoting loyalty to the Emperor above all else and encouraging self-sacrifice for the greater good of the Imperium. The Emperor's divine status is further reinforced by his role as the linchpin of the Astronomicon, a psychic beacon powered by his immense abilities that enables faster-than-light travel for Imperial ships through the treacherous warp. This vital function is seen as further evidence of his divine nature and his enduring care for humanity. While the worship of the God Emperor is the dominant religion within the Imperium, there are countless other cults, sects, and belief systems present on its myriad worlds. However, the Imperium is highly intolerant of any beliefs that deviate from the official doctrine, considering them to be heretical and dangerous. The Inquisition, a secretive and powerful organization, is tasked with rooting out heresy and ensuring the spiritual purity of the Imperium's citizens. In summary, the Imperium's relationship with religion, particularly the worship of the God Emperor, is a crucial aspect of its society and governance. The belief in the divine nature of the Emperor serves to unite the disparate worlds of the Imperium, foster loyalty, and provide a sense of purpose and meaning for its countless inhabitants in the grim darkness of the far future. The history of the Imperium of Man is a tale of triumph, tragedy, and an unyielding struggle for survival. Key moments in its history have shaped the Imperium into the vast and enduring empire it is today. The Imperium was founded during the closing years of the Age of Strife, a period of turmoil and anarchy that had engulfed humanity for millennia. The Emperor, a being of unparalleled psychic power and wisdom, emerged on Terra and set about unifying the warring factions of humanity under his rule. With Terra united, the Emperor embarked on the Great Crusade, a galaxy-spanning campaign to reunite the scattered remnants of humanity and establish a new, golden age for the human race. To aid him in this monumental task, the Emperor created the Primarchs, 20 genetically engineered superhumans imbued with his own genetic material, each possessing unique talents and abilities. However, before they could be fully matured, the Chaos Gods spirited the infant Primarchs away, scattering them across the galaxy. Undeterred, the Emperor created the Space Marine Legions, using the remaining genetic material of the Primarchs, and set forth to reclaim his lost sons. Over the course of the Great Crusade, the Emperor and his Space Marines reunited with the lost Primarchs, who took command of their respective legions. Together, they reconquered thousands of worlds and brought humanity closer to the Emperor's vision of a unified and enlightened Imperium. The seeds of tragedy were sown when the Emperor returned to Terra, leaving his favored son, Horus, in command of the Great Crusade. Corrupted by the Chaos Gods, Horus turned against his father and led fully half of the Space Marine Legions in a devastating civil war known as the Horus Heresy. This brutal conflict saw brother fighting brother and countless worlds laid waste. It culminated in the Siege of Terra, during which the Emperor faced Horus in single combat aboard his flagship. The Emperor, grievously wounded and near death, managed to slay his treacherous son but was left crippled and unable to lead his people directly. In the wake of the Horus heresy, the Imperium was reorganized to prevent such a catastrophe from occurring again. The Space Marine legions were divided into smaller chapters, and the Emperor was interred within the Golden Throne, his psychic might harnessed to protect and guide humanity from within his life-sustaining sarcophagus. Since that time, the Imperium has faced innumerable challenges, from invasions by alien species to the insidious corruption of chaos. It has endured through sheer determination and the unwavering faith of its citizens, who continue to fight and die in the Emperor's name, striving to preserve the fragile flame of humanity in the darkness of the 41st millennium. The Imperium of Man is governed by a complex and hierarchical structure with numerous organizations and institutions working together to maintain order and stability across its vast domain. At the heart of the Imperium's government is the Senatorum Imperialis, more commonly known as the High Lords of Terra. This council of 12 individuals represents the various branches of the imperial government and military, wielding immense power and authority in the Emperor's name. They convene on Terra, the birthplace of humanity and the seat of the Emperor's power, and are responsible for enacting the Emperor's will and making decisions that affect the lives of countless trillions. Each High Lord represents a specific aspect of the Imperium, such as the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Ecclesiarchy, or the Imperial Navy. Together, they form the highest echelons of power within the Imperium, responsible for creating and enforcing policy on a galactic scale. However, the sheer size and complexity of the Imperium mean that many decisions must be delegated to local governors and leaders who often have considerable autonomy in managing their respective territories. Operating outside the standard hierarchy of the Imperium is the Inquisition, a secretive and powerful organization tasked with protecting humanity from the myriad threats it faces. The Inquisition's primary mandate is to root out heresy, corruption, and alien influence within the Imperium, ensuring the spiritual and moral purity of its citizens. The Inquisition is divided into several branches, known as Ordos, each focused on a specific aspect of the Imperium's defense. The Ordo Hereticus investigates and punishes heresy and corruption within the Imperium itself, while the Ordo Xenos deals with the myriad alien threats that seek to undermine humanity's dominion. The Ordo Malleus specializes in combating the insidious influence of chaos and the demonic entities that it spawns. Inquisitors, the agents of the Inquisition, are granted near absolute authority to carry out their duties, answerable only to their fellow Inquisitors and the Emperor himself. They operate with a high degree of autonomy, using whatever means necessary to safeguard the Imperium and its citizens from the many dangers that beset them. In addition to the High Lords of Terra and the Inquisition, the Imperium of Man is composed of several other important organizations that play crucial roles in its governance, defense, and day-to-day functioning. The Adeptus Administratum is the vast bureaucratic apparatus responsible for managing the Imperium's countless worlds and resources. It oversees taxation, population control, and resource allocation, ensuring that the Imperium's vast military and civilian needs are met. The Administratum is known for its labyrinthine bureaucracy and staggering levels of paperwork, reflecting the immense complexity of managing an empire that spans the galaxy. The Adeptus Astra Telepathica is responsible for identifying, training, and managing psychers within the Imperium. These individuals, gifted with psychic abilities, are essential for communication across the vast distances of the Imperium. The Astra Telepathica also manages the Astropaths, who serve as the primary means of long-range communication, and the Navigators, who guide Imperial ships through the treacherous currents of the warp. The Adeptus Mechanicus, also known as the Cult Mechanicus or the Priesthood of Mars, is the organization responsible for the Imperium's technology and industry. They maintain, produce, and innovate the various weapons, vehicles, and equipment used by the Imperium's military and civilian sectors. As a separate entity, the Adeptus Mechanicus has its own hierarchy and operates semi-independently, bound to the Imperium by the Treaty of Mars. The Adeptus Ministorum, also known as the Ecclesiarchy, is the religious organization responsible for spreading the worship of the Emperor throughout the Imperium. They maintain the spiritual well-being of the Imperium's citizens, promoting loyalty and devotion to the God Emperor. The Ecclesiarchy also maintains the Sisters of Battle, an all-female military force that serves as both the armed wing of the Ecclesiarchy and a potent symbol of the Emperor's divine authority. The Adeptus Arbites is the Imperium's law enforcement organization, responsible for upholding imperial law and maintaining order on its myriad worlds. They act as judges, enforcers, and executioners, ensuring that the citizens of the Imperium remain obedient and loyal to the Emperor's rule. The Adeptus Astartes, more commonly known as the Space Marines, are the elite superhuman warriors of the Imperium. Organized into chapters, the Space Marines are genetically enhanced and equipped with the finest weapons and armor available, serving as the Emperor's ultimate weapon against the numerous threats facing the Imperium. These are just a few of the many organizations that make up the vast and complex structure of the Imperium of Man. Each plays a crucial role in maintaining the stability, security, and prosperity of the human race in the grim darkness of the far future. The Imperium of Man faces countless threats from both within and without, requiring a vast and diverse military to defend its territory and citizens. This military is primarily composed of the Adeptus Astartes and the Astra Militarum, who together form the backbone of the Imperium's defense. The Adeptus Astartes, or Space Marines, are the elite superhuman warriors of the Imperium. Genetically engineered and indoctrinated from a young age, Space Marines are physically, mentally, and spiritually superior to ordinary humans. They are organized into chapters, each comprising approximately 1,000 warriors, with its own traditions, tactics, and heraldry. Each chapter is an autonomous military force responsible for its own recruitment, training, and equipment. The Space Marines are equipped with the finest weapons and armor in the Imperium, such as the iconic Power Armor and Bolter, which provide them with unmatched battlefield prowess. Space Marines are often deployed for the most critical and dangerous missions, where their extraordinary abilities and expertise are necessary to turn the tide of battle. They excel in rapid strike operations, boarding actions, and other high-intensity engagements, and are often seen as the Emperor's wrath incarnate. The Astra Militarum, commonly known as the Imperial Guard, is the largest and most diverse military organization within the Imperium. It is comprised of billions of soldiers drawn from countless worlds, representing the vast array of human cultures and societies within the Imperium. The Imperial Guard is organized into regiments, each hailing from a specific world and possessing its own unique tactics, traditions, and equipment. Regiments can vary greatly in size and composition, ranging from small, highly specialized units to massive infantry formations numbering in the millions. Imperial Guard forces are typically equipped with standard-issue weapons and vehicles such as the Lasgun and the Lemon Russ battle tank. While individually less capable than the Space Marines, the Imperial Guard relies on its overwhelming numbers, combined arms tactics, and the indomitable spirit of its soldiers to achieve victory. The Imperial Guard serves as the primary defensive force of the Imperium, garrisoning worlds, holding strategic locations, and providing the bulk of the manpower in large-scale conflicts. They often work in conjunction with other Imperial forces, such as the Adeptus Astartes and the Adeptus Mechanicus, to protect the Imperium from its numerous enemies. In summary, the military of the Imperium is a vast and diverse force composed of the elite Adeptus Astartes and the countless soldiers of the Astra Militarum. Together, they form a potent and flexible fighting force capable of meeting the myriad threats that beset the Imperium and ensuring the survival of the human race in the grim darkness of the far future. The Imperium of Man is defined by a distinct set of beliefs and cultural values that permeate every aspect of its society, from the lowliest citizen to the most powerful noble. These beliefs are centered around loyalty to the Emperor, duty to the Imperium, and sacrifice in the face of adversity. Loyalty to the Emperor is the bedrock upon which the Imperium is built. As the God Emperor of mankind, the Emperor serves as both the ultimate ruler and the divine figurehead of the Imperium. His wisdom and guidance are seen as the guiding force behind humanity's survival in a hostile galaxy, and devotion to him is considered the highest virtue. The Emperor's worship is promoted and enforced by the Adeptus Ministorum, which plays a central role in shaping the cultural and religious identity of the Imperium's citizens. Duty to the Imperium is another core tenet of imperial culture. Citizens are expected to contribute to the greater good and the defense of the Imperium in whatever way they can, whether that be through military service, labor, or simply by obeying the laws and edicts handed down by the Imperium's rulers. This sense of duty extends to all levels of society, with even the highest-ranking officials and leaders expected to place the needs of the Imperium above their own personal ambitions and desires. The concept of sacrifice is deeply ingrained in imperial culture, as the Imperium is constantly beset by threats and challenges that demand great effort and loss to overcome. Individuals are taught from a young age that they must be willing to make sacrifices for the greater good, whether that means laying down their life in defense of the Imperium, enduring hardship and privation, or simply accepting the loss of personal freedoms in the name of security and stability. This focus on loyalty, duty, and sacrifice creates a society that is highly collectivist and martial in nature, with an emphasis on personal responsibility and the greater good. It is a culture that values stoicism, fortitude, and the ability to endure hardship, as well as a fierce dedication to the survival and prosperity of the human race. The beliefs and culture of the Imperium of Man extend beyond the core tenets of loyalty, duty, and sacrifice, shaping many other aspects of life in the Imperium. These facets contribute to a unique and diverse society, bound together by a common purpose and shared devotion to the Emperor. Life in the Imperium is often harsh and unforgiving, leading to a pervasive sense of fear and superstition among its citizens. Many people turn to the teachings of the ecclesiarchy for solace, seeking protection from the numerous threats that plague the galaxy. Superstitions, rituals, and practices aimed at warding off misfortune are commonplace, and ignorance of the true nature of the universe is often encouraged by the Imperium's institutions to maintain control and prevent the spread of dangerous ideas. The Imperial Creed is the state-sanctioned religion of the Imperium, centered on the worship of the Emperor as the one true God of mankind. The ecclesiarchy serves as the primary institution for spreading and enforcing the tenets of the Imperial Creed, and it plays a vital role in unifying the disparate cultures and peoples of the Imperium. While there is some variation in the way the Emperor is worshipped across different worlds, the core beliefs of the Imperial Creed remain consistent, emphasizing loyalty, duty, and sacrifice. The constant threats faced by the Imperium have led to a society that places a strong emphasis on militarism and martial prowess. Military service is highly regarded, and the Imperial Guard, Space Marines, and other branches of the armed forces are often seen as the embodiment of imperial ideals. This militarism is reflected in the architecture, art, and literature of the Imperium, which often glorifies war and martial virtues. The Imperium of Man is deeply xenophobic, viewing alien species as threats to humanity's survival and dominion over the galaxy. This belief is reinforced by the teachings of the Imperial Creed, which asserts humanity's divine right to rule the stars. The Imperium is often engaged in conflict with various xenospecies, and cooperation or peaceful coexistence with aliens is generally frowned upon, if not outright forbidden. Imperial society is highly stratified, with a strict hierarchy in place that dictates the roles and responsibilities of its citizens. This hierarchy extends from the lowliest worker to the highest-ranking officials, creating a rigid and highly regimented society that values order and stability above all else. Social mobility is limited, and individuals are often expected to fulfill the roles they were born into, whether that be as a factory worker, farmer, or noble. In conclusion, the beliefs and culture of the Imperium of Man are shaped by a variety of factors, ranging from the harsh realities of life in the 41st millennium to the teachings of the Imperial Creed. This has resulted in a society that is deeply loyal to the Emperor, highly regimented, and fiercely determined to safeguard humanity's place in the galaxy, despite the overwhelming odds stacked against it. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, the Imperium of Man's complex relationship with psykers, mutants, and technology reveals the deep-seated fears and challenges that permeate its society. Psykers are individuals who possess psychic abilities, allowing them to manipulate the warp, an alternate dimension of energy and emotion, to perform feats beyond the comprehension of normal humans. The Imperium's attitude towards psykers is one of both fear and necessity. On one hand, psykers are essential to the functioning of the Imperium, as they provide the means for long-range communication and navigation through the warp. On the other hand, psykers are inherently dangerous, as their connection to the warp makes them susceptible to corruption by chaos and the predations of demonic entities. As a result, the Imperium strictly regulates and controls Psykers through the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. Psykers are identified, registered, and trained to control their abilities and resist the temptations of chaos. Many Psykers serve in the Imperial Guard, Space Marine Librarians, or as sanctioned Imperial personnel such as astropaths or navigators. Those who cannot control their powers or are deemed too dangerous are often sacrificed to the Golden Throne to sustain the Emperor's life force. Mutants, or individuals with significant genetic deviations from the baseline human norm, are generally regarded with suspicion and disdain by the Imperium. While some mutations may be relatively benign, others can be dangerous or even heretical, marking the individual as tainted by chaos. The Imperium's attitude towards mutants is rooted in the belief that purity of form reflects purity of spirit, and that deviations from the human norm are an affront to the Emperor's divine design. Depending on the severity of their mutations and the cultural norms of their homeworld, mutants may be tolerated, ostracized, or even hunted down and exterminated. In some cases, mutants with useful abilities, such as the Navigators or Ogrons, are pressed into service of the Imperium, but they are generally treated as second-class citizens at best. The Adeptus Mechanicus, also known as the Cult Mechanicus or the Priesthood of Mars, is responsible for the development, maintenance, and regulation of technology within the Imperium. They are a semi-independent organization, bound to the Imperium through the Treaty of Mars, and they maintain their own hierarchy, traditions, and beliefs. The Adeptus Mechanicus is guided by the Machine Cult, a religious doctrine that venerates the Machine God, or Omnissiah, and the spirits of machines. They view knowledge and understanding of technology as a sacred pursuit, and they are the keepers of the Imperium's technological secrets. This religious reverence for technology often leads to a conservative approach to innovation, with many members of the Adeptus Mechanicus believing that all knowledge already exists and must simply be rediscovered. Due to their central role in the development and maintenance of technology, the Adeptus Mechanicus is often tasked with the responsibility of identifying and containing technological threats such as Xenos technology or devices corrupted by chaos. They are also responsible for ensuring that technology remains within the bounds of the Imperium's religious and cultural norms, preventing the spread of heretical or dangerous ideas. In summary, the Imperium of Man's attitude toward Psykers and mutants is one of cautious necessity and suspicion, reflecting the dangers these individuals pose as well as their potential usefulness. The Adeptus Mechanicus, as the stewards of the Imperium's technology, plays a crucial role in maintaining and regulating the machines and devices that underpin the Imperium's might, guided by their religious devotion to the Omnissiah and the spirits of machines. As we conclude our exploration of the Imperium of Man, we have glimpsed the immense scale and complexity of this galactic empire forged by the indomitable will of humanity in the face of untold horrors. The Imperium stands as a testament to the resilience and determination of the human spirit, even as it grapples with the ever-present threat of corruption, destruction, and annihilation. But the darkness that surrounds the Imperium is not solely the domain of Xenos and cosmic horrors. In our next episode, The Forces of Chaos, we will delve into the insidious and malevolent powers that seek to undermine and destroy the Imperium from within. We will explore the twisted servants of the Dark Gods, the ruinous powers that corrupt the very fabric of reality, and the eternal struggle between order and entropy that defines the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Join us next time as we venture deeper into the heart of darkness and uncover the terrifying truth behind the forces of chaos. Don't forget to watch one of these cool videos and enjoy gaming.